What is up, everyone? Welcome to the first ever official WhatsBaySay podcast. It is going down. It's actually happening, and I am so thankful to be launching this podcast. This is the intro. I have a very special guest here today. My best friend Halie King is in the room. Holla at your girl. She is going to be asking me questions about myself and this podcast and my vision for it, so that anyone who doesn't know me can get to know me through this and hopefully buy into what we're about to do. And the podcast is going to be covering so many different things, but I'm just going to share my heart and some of my life stories, and it's going to be awesome. So let's go ahead and get this thing started.
We only have a few exposures along the way, so better stay tuned.
It's going to be good.
First off, before we get started, I just wanted to say to you, Bailey, that I'm so proud of you, and I know that's coming from more than just myself. Everyone who's in your life that's close to you, your family, your close friends, we all look up to you in a huge way, and I just want to say that this isn't a small thing, and I'm super proud that you're stepping out and being courageous and just following your dreams, because that's definitely not a hard thing. I mean, not an easy thing to do. So I'm proud of you, but
Love you.
As Bailey said, this is just an intro of who she is. And so for y'all who don't know her as well as I know her, this is for you guys to kind of learn more about her. So let's get started. Let's get all this sappiness out of the way.
Let's do it.
And just get started. So first off, I just felt like we need to set the ground. You know, why a podcast? Is this a random thing, or have you kind of always been filling this out a little bit?
Yes.
So why a podcast?
So first of all, too, I think it's important for everybody to know that we did not plan answers. We're kind of just having a normal conversation, and I want this podcast to be that way. So why the podcast? This has been something that has been on my heart for years now. And I've always felt like I wanted to just share with people who were willing to listen, who wanted to listen, and help them know Jesus more, help them know themselves more, and help them reach any type of dreams and aspirations they have. I just really want to help people, and I knew that either a podcast or YouTube would be a way to do that. So I have been thinking about it for a long time, but I was honestly a little scared about doing it, but I'm stepping out in faith and boldness to do it. And I prayed how it came about. I'll say I prayed a pretty crazy, kind of selfish prayer. I said that if the Lord wanted me to do this, that it would be easy. I said, all right, Lord, if you want this to come about, I just want everything to go smoothly.
Yeah.
Go easy. So prayed that prayer, and then I had the incredible Ty Smith reach out to me and tell me about this amazing, real bougie studio that we're in right now. And he was like, I heard you're doing a podcast. I would love to go alongside you, help you craft it, create it, etc. So I said, okay, check one. Yeah. We have an actual studio, which is the first thing. And
which
then,
I feel like is probably the hardest part.
Oh, yeah.
It just fell into your lap.
Yeah, literally. And then I had a couple of friends reach out to me. Ulysses is awesome. He said, I want to take professional pictures of you for it to have to promote and do what you like with them. I had graphic designers reach out to me. I prayed. I said, this is something I want to do, but God, if it's something you want me to do, line it up, make it happen. And he did, and it's been awesome. So,
yeah. And I think just touching on that too, I feel like you've lived your life, always, but especially coming out of high school, you've lived your life speaking into people's lives. So this is just another avenue for that. So I think it fits perfectly. So either still going off of that, do you have what is your intention behind WhatsBaySay podcast? What's your vision? What's your topics? What's your 1 year? What do you want this to look like type of thing?
So I don't necessarily have a exact vision for it. I would just say my heart is to use everything I've gone through, the good, the bad, the ugly, the funny, the crazy, the moments, my high moments, my low moments. It's to use everything that's happened in my life, every part of me, every conversation, everything I've learned, and to make myself open and available for someone else to catch on to it and say, I like how she handled that, or I like the way she did that, or I didn't like the way she handled that, or etc. Just making my life and my story available to people to use. And I also want to bring in some friends. I mean, obviously, this is going to be a lot of guest-based podcast, and I want to bring in some friends, some people I look up to, and really just learn from one another. I want to have real coffee conversations. I want it to feel like we're all just at a coffee shop just talking about things. And
obviously there's a ranking system, though, starting with the first podcast being the most important.
Yeah. So my special guest.
So if you're like a year from now getting guest starred, sorry.
You'll be like, I was the 30th pick. No, everyone will have a place in it. And I just want to have some table conversations, really, and just openly talk about struggles and things we're doing well at, things we want to do better at, and just want to better people through anything that I'm able to. So, that's kind of the vision for it. And hopefully,
just kind of wherever it goes.
Yeah, if it's meant to go, whoever it's meant to go to, I believe it'll get to them. So,
yeah, I love that. And then last thing, just touching on this podcast, like I said earlier, how, I'm so proud of you, and everyone who's close to you is so proud of you, because stepping out and putting yourself out there is not an easy thing to do. Like, we're literally doing this, and it's going to be out there for people to listen to and basically judge. So, like, was there ever, like, a doubt? Was there ever face any fears with doing this? Did you ever, think about it and be like, oh, no, I don't think I want to do that, even though it'd be really awesome? Did that ever get in the way for you? And, how did you overcome that? Because now, obviously, we're doing it.
Yeah, so I think that absolutely. I was so terrified, and I'm still pretty scared about it. Putting your name on anything and putting your efforts into anything to have the potential of it not going well or getting the success you want from it is intimidating. Obviously, it's like going out for a team. You hope you make it, and you just kind of have to go for it.
Yeah.
So I definitely think that I'm a normal human being, that I felt a little scared, but I think that it's a good thing that I felt scared, because it's making me uncomfortable. This is not something that...
Can you hear it in our voice?
Yeah, we're like, no, it's something that challenged me, and that's a big part of why I wanted to do it too. I thought, how can I grow as a leader, as a speaker, as someone who wants to help people? And so it challenged me in who I was and what I wanted to do. But also, I just realized that I like listening to people's podcasts who are just real, honest people and who care about what they're doing. Yeah. And I care about this. And I'm hoping that will communicate even through this audio, that people will feel my burden for it and they'll get onto the vision. And, so I don't know. I was scared, obviously, but I think all good things that are big steps will make you scared. That's not a reason not to do it. It's even more of a reason to do it, to push yourself. And, it causes you to rely on friends and family for support, which is always incredible. And it causes me to rely on who God is to me and trust that if, this is something he wants me to do, then he's going to bless it and it's going to be great. And so, whatever anyone has a dream for, little side note, step out in that and, have courage and have faith, because our life's also just too short to live scared.
Yeah, and not to try, at least.
Yeah. I mean, if this thing takes and it's just me and Halie,
hey,
2 views,
that's okay.
Then, we had fun doing it and we gave it our all. And so, I don't know, I just felt excited about it, and all good things kind of make me nervous. Anything that God's telling me to do makes me nervous, but I'm like, that's not a reason for me not to do it. And also, on a totally different note, one of my favorite quotes ever is from Bob Goff, and it said, "No one's remembered for what you almost did."
Yeah.
And you've known I've wanted to do a podcast or a YouTube for forever, and that quote really ooh, shoot, that's deep, that's deep. And so I don't want to be remembered for all the dreams I had that I never touched the base of.
Yeah.
I want to be someone who chased them, and maybe some of them fail, maybe some of them go crazy.
But even from the failures, there's a lot to grow from that.
Oh, for sure.
And I think a lot of people take like what you said, you're nervous, but it's a good nervous. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of people kind of do nervous, relate nervous to a negative, or fear as a negative. Mm-hmm. And really it's good to be scared of things. It's good to be uncomfortable. It's good to be nervous.
For sure.
So
courage is not the absence of being scared. It's even though I'm scared, I'm still going to step forward.
Right.
Courage is someone who says, this is intimidating, but it's not going to stop me in my tracks. I'm still going towards it. So that's what we're doing. Pioneering.
Oh my God.
It's a big word.
Is this history in the making? All right. So let's kind of get into more about who Bailey is.
Okay.
And I think I want to start off when I was trying to write things down. The biggest thing that was coming to me was family. I feel like ever since I've known you, like your family is just at the center of who you are. It's how you become to who you are. Your family has impacted my life in a huge way, and I'm not even, I'm in it, but I'm not in it. Yes. So let's just start off with some family questions. Like, what is your family like? For those who don't know you, so how many siblings do you have? How did you grow up? Things like that.
Okay. Yeah, so I have a big family. I have 2 sisters and 2 brothers, and Madison's the oldest, then me, then Mackenzie, then Baxley, then Maddox. And there's a big age gap because Madison is 25 and Maddox just turned 10. So 15 years there, which was pretty stinking crazy at first because, I was probably 13 or something when he was born, and it was a crazy time in our life, but such a good addition to our family, and, the Lord knew what he was doing in all of it. But yeah, so they're awesome, and great mom and dad. I think that I know now, being older, that I was really blessed with my family that I do have. My whole family is so supportive. Moments before we started, my dad was calling me. He's like, I know you're about to record. I just want to tell you I'm so proud of you and I love you. And, they have no idea where this is going to go, but they are bought into what I'm bought into, and they want to support what I'm passionate about. And so they're incredible. I've obviously grown up, I've mentioned God, Jesus. I've grown up Christian in a non-denominational family. That's been the basis of who I am and what I believe and my morals and values, etc. It all comes from the Christian faith. But I'm not limiting this podcast to just people who are Christians. Right. I will obviously talk about God. It's a big part of who I am. But if I was an athlete, I would talk about my sport. It's a big part of who I am. It's not that everything. It's just the biggest thing. So I'm not limiting to that. If you're a different religion or you're not saved, this podcast is for you to just learn from and grow from. But yeah, my family is Christian, and it's been great. And there's a little bit of look that sometimes families can look perfect from the outside. And, that is just a lie. Nobody's family is perfect. But I do think that I do have a great family, and I credit my parents and my siblings to helping me be who I am. Great support system. They're awesome, but we have a lot of fun.
They are awesome. Do you think that they have had an influence on to us doing this today, where you've become who you are right now? Yeah,
I do think that.
Or anyone in particular?
Yeah, I do think that my parents and even my grandparents and every conversation has helped obviously sculpt the kind of person I want to be, the kind of things I want to do. But what was cool about my mom and dad and even my nanny and papa and everyone in my family friends, is that no one ever shoved Jesus down my throat. They were never saying, you have to do this and you have to believe this and you have to walk this way and talk this way. They didn't do that. My parents led by example. They loved the Lord. He was their foundation. He helped them in their hard times and their good times. And it was kind of monkey see, monkey do. I saw how much good Jesus added into their life, so I said, I want to be a part of that.
Yeah, why not go that way?
Yeah, I'm like, that seems better. So that way, yeah. I do think that it was the way my parents brought Jesus into the conversation was very organic and not forceful. And they just told me, there is someone in heaven who loves you and is rooting for you. And I said, I want to know that guy. I want to be cool with him. So yes, they did, but not through, you have to do this and you have to do that. Yeah. Because I don't believe in all that. Yeah. I believe, you communicate Jesus' love, and when people want to get to know him, they can get to know him in their own way. So
yeah, for sure. All right, now let's get some exposure going on.
Let's do it.
I want some mean texts coming your way after this podcast released. So who is your favorite sibling?
Oh, goodness.
Or maybe the sibling you most relate to.
Okay, so I don't really know, and this is not a cop-out, but it kind of does depend on the day, because sometimes, one of them will be vibing with me a little bit more.
Right. And the other one, not so much.
Yeah, the other one get on me. I would say that they're all kind of different. Madison challenges me the most because we definitely see things so differently, but it's been very healthy for us to notice that and to learn from each other. I mean, I'm her maid of honor right now, and it's been so awesome just like getting to plan her wedding and be a part of her big moments. Mackenzie is probably the one that's most like me. We have the crackhead energy, down to do whatever.
Yeah.
Let's drive to Atlanta right now type of vibe.
I'll be picking y'all up somewhere.
Yeah. And then Baxley is just my little brother. I mean, I feel
like all your siblings are all very different, so that is kind of a hard question.
It helps, too, that we're different.
You're all very different, I feel like.
Baxley's
all 5 of you are, like...
totally different, yeah. Baxley's just my little brother, and I'm so proud of him, and I look at him as if he hung the moon. I just think the world of him. He's such a sweetheart. And
baller.
And he won. And then Maddox is just my little buddy, so it just depends. But who I'd probably hang out the most with would probably my sisters in general. We get along.
For sure.
We're girls. We're girlies.
That wasn't the answer I was going for, but...
Yes.
Sorry, guys. She got out of that one.
Talk my way out. No,
all right. Next, let's kind of talk about, which I think is which has led you here in a huge way. After high school, what did you do for school? Where did you go for college? Mm-hmm. Which I think leads in to a lot of this type of atmosphere, speaking into people's lives, stuff like that. So maybe touch on a little bit of that.
Yeah. So I went to Free Chapel College. Shout out. It was besides
sponsored by never.
Yeah. We're like sponsored and merch. No, I'm just kidding. So I went to Free Chapel College, and I absolutely adored that place. I still do. I went there, and then I interned for 2 years, which was a little bit longer than expected, but the Lord has a way of doing everything. And now I am so happy and thankful to say that I am actually on staff there in kids and youth ministry. And so obviously my obviously my schooling and the path I took put me in a lot of places where I got to speak and I got to learn the power of believing in somebody, because people believed in me and they invested into me, and I saw the fruit of it, and I've just accredit so much to church and to getting around good people and mentors, etc. And so it was kind of giving back in a sense. They poured so much into me growing up and helped establish the kind of person I wanted to be, the kind of route I wanted to take. And so I thought, I'm going to go somewhere that really invested into me, and I'm going to get on the other end of it, and I want to invest into some people and believe in them when they don't believe in themselves. And so that's kind of where it started from, and then just kept going, and I love it. It's my home, and it's been awesome, and I plan to be there for a while, as long as the Lord will let me, so it's been good.
Yeah. I think going off of that, too, like, you talk about how you were so certain in going there for your college, and that's not always the case for a lot of people, especially coming out of high school. That can be such a weird time. I know, like, for myself, like, I was stressed out, like, what college do you go to? What's your major? So, like, how did you know you wanted to go into ministry? How did you know, like, what helped you navigate that decision? Because that's a huge decision in, like, that age in your life.
For sure. Yeah, so I actually have known that I want to be in ministry forever, but I definitely ran away from it for a little while, like a little detour.
As we all take.
Yeah, I thought that so when I was little, I knew that I wanted to communicate the gospel, and Jesus means so much to me, and I wanted to present that to people in a way that, just made them think about it. Whether they got saved or not, I don't know, but I just wanted to present them with the idea of him. And so I've been doing that since I was little. I mean, I would preach when I was 4 years old to my parents in diapers. Yeah. So I knew that, but I definitely for a while questioned it, because, as you get older, it's kind of gets more scary and more real, and you realize, okay, so if I take this route of the ministry school, the Jesus stuff, working at a church, I am taking a route very contrary to the world right now.
For sure, yeah.
And so it was scary, and it was one of those things where, I thought, oh, well, I could go here, and they wouldn't care what I posted and what I wore, and I could do this, and I could experiment, whatever, dumb kid stuff. But I just kept feeling this burden of like, nope, I called you to be different. I called you to be different. And so a part of being called to be different is surrounding yourself with people who also want to be different.
Right.
So that you can hold each other accountable, and you can be there for each other, and you can have good friendships. And so I kind of I think there's so much, power and authority in going out on a maybe. That maybe this is what God has for me, or maybe this is what the world has for me, and just stepping out in something and just seeing how it goes.
Yeah.
People think you have to have everything lined up and figured up, and you have to have this certain and this certain and this certain before you go step somewhere, when I don't think that's the case in a lot of things. I think that you step into a position, or you step into a place or an environment, and you just see how you feel. You see if it's making you better, if it's beneficial to your life, if it's making other people better. And so that's what it did, and definitely cost me some things. I mean, there was hard times when any time you're quote-unquote thriving or excelling, there's going to be some pushback. There's going to be some quote-unquote haters. There's going to be some people who are not on the same page as you, but that's not a reason to give up. It's just more of the reason to just keep going, and keep going, and keep going. And so I just kept going, and the Lord blessed it, and I really do think that everything that now I'm seeing the fruit of and that's beneficial to me scared me at first.
For sure.
For sure.
I need to write that down. I'm going to be taking notes while I'm reading notes. Jeez. But for sure, I think that's a huge thing to take in account. When you're making big decisions, it's not like this is the end all be all. Don't be scared to step out.
Yeah,
Don't be
we're
scared
young.
to try things. Like you were 18 when you made that decision. You have your whole life ahead of you.
Yeah, and how much I've even changed within then. I mean, geez Louise. Jeez, Transformation Tuesday.
All right. And I think too, and a huge reason you obviously felt led to go to ministry, like you said, your family, you've grown up in faith, and that's a huge part of your life. So let's just touch on a few things like that, because I think even though if someone's not in faith or practicing it, or it's intimidating to them, or they are and they just struggle, because I know personally,
we all struggle.
Yeah, it's hard to do. It's hard. There's challenges with everything. So how do you make time for Jesus daily? Because I think that's a huge thing that obviously led you to want to be in ministry. You obviously have a relationship with Jesus that's strong and a huge part of your life. So I think that's a huge obstacle for a lot of people. They go on a 2-week run, and then it's I missed a day, and then they just forget about it because they're hard on themselves, and they think that that's the end all be all. I haven't done it in a week, and now I'm back at the square one, and it's really not like that. So how do you make time? What are some practical things that you can tell people that kind of gets people away from being so hard on themselves or intimidated by faith?
Yeah, so a couple of things, facial expression. A couple of things are, one, I had to be consistent in it. I had to say, if you're starting to work out and you want to see progress, you have to go every day, or you have to go 5 times a week. It is not an option. You will not get to where you want to be if you do not decide, this is important to me, this is on the calendar, this is happening. So that's one thing, is make it consistent. And I think what happens is, I'll use working out as my example. So for me, what I used to do is I would go on a big workout streak. I would cut out sugar, bread, gluten, everything. I would just cut out everything, go 7 days a week, and then I would get overwhelmed because I
burnt out almost.
Yeah, you would be completely switching your lifestyle
all at once
and putting so much pressure on yourself, and then you would just quit, and then I wouldn't go for forever, and I would go to McDonald's. So I would just be like, I can't reach this goal, so I'm just gonna cut. But really, what was happening is I was just setting unrealistic expectations on myself.
Yeah, so unreachable goals.
Yeah, you have to be honest with yourself, and you have to be honest with your schedule even, and say, this Jesus stuff matters to me, or whatever it is that matters to you. If it matters to you, figure out a consistent schedule for it. So if you're going to wake up 10 minutes, an hour earlier, whatever it is. If you're going to do it in the middle of the day, during your lunch break, if you're going to do it at night, just make time for it. That's the first thing I would say. And the second thing is that I think that a relationship with Jesus seems so spiritual and so far-fetched, and people are thinking, what does that even mean?
Right.
All it means is that Jesus is our Lord and Savior. He's a higher being. He's up there. If you know nothing about Jesus, let me paint a picture for you. So he's a higher being, and he's up in heaven. He came to the world to save us, and he's died for us, saved us, and he loves us more than anything. He wants a relationship. The cool thing about Jesus is he does not pry. He does not push his way through to get to you and to make you feel like a bad person, or to tell you you have to change X, Y, Z. What he actually does is he sits up there and he's just waiting for you to extend your hand and want to get to know him. The ways you get to know him are through his Bible, through prayer, through worship, through church services where you hear about him. You act like it's a friend. Right. I get to know you by spending time with you, figuring out your likes, your dislikes, what makes you smile, what makes you mad, what do you stand for. That is the same thing with Jesus, and we have all these tools to do that. So obviously my relationship with Jesus is going to look different than everyone else's. There's not one exact way to have a relationship with Jesus. I would say practically figure out a consistent way that you can spend time with him, whether you like worship, reading, praying, etc. And then have good people around you who will hold you accountable and create conversation in that. And then another thing is don't overcomplicate it, Yeah,
I think that's a huge thing.
Just hang out with them. I mean, whether you literally just go sit in the woods and listen to worship music, sounds scary sometimes if it's at night, but if it's in the day and it's a pond and it's
don't make
beautiful,
this weird.
It can be so good. Yeah. Or in your car, just taking a second to pray before work, acknowledging him in any way is spending time with them. Don't overcomplicate it.
Yeah.
Just set a standard. Try your best to reach that standard, and also know that even the greatest Christian believer has an off day where they didn't get as much time in that they wanted. And something that God showed me is that I never have to reintroduce myself to my Father. And that took so much pressure off of me.
Yeah.
Because I felt as if I missed time, that I had to start from square one. Yeah. But I wouldn't reintroduce myself to you. Even if I didn't see you for a month, when I saw you, I would know who you are. You would know who I am.
And
you would know I love you. I know you love me, and we would just pick up where we left off. And that's how your relationship with Jesus needs to go. The worst thing that happens is when you don't spend time, then you're like, oh, I can never get back to where I was. That's not true. You can jump right back in. So you don't have to reintroduce yourself to your Father. Take that pressure off yourself.
Yeah, I think that's so good and just so true. I mean, like I said, that's something that you speak into my life all the time. I'm always texting you being like, shoot, text me.
Text me every single day.
I need
Did you read your Bible?
Just because life can get so busy, and like that sucks to like say, like you don't want to like give yourself grace, but like all the time. I think there's a need for that sometimes, but I think like life is busy, and he knows that, and it's like it's not a cop out, but he's there with you in the busy. So
it's like, and taking a second to even, like I said, I pray before I go to work. Jesus, let me have a great day. I thought of him. I acknowledged him, and I went about my day.
Easy as that.
Simple, easy.
All right, so let's kind of move forward and kind of change lanes a little bit. Not quite that much.
Okay. Screw.
Don't know what I just said. But putting yourself on the spot a little bit, selfishly talking about yourself, which I know you don't ever do. If you had to describe yourself in 3 words,
oh Lord,
what would you describe yourself as? And I have 3 words for you as well, if you want to hear mine.
Sweetie. No, I don't want to hear yours, because then I'll just think about yours and I'll be... Okay, 3 words to describe myself to just a stranger, just someone you don't know me.
Yeah,
I don't know you.
Don't think you're gonna be like selfish if you say something nice about yourself.
I'm like batty. No, I'm just kidding. I would say outgoing.
Oh my God, what if we say the same 3?
I'm freaking out. Outgoing. I would say considerate or caring. That could go interchanging right there. I care a lot about things and people.
Things and people.
And maybe I hope I'm kind. So that sounds like I'm none of those things when I say them myself. But
I mean, it's pretty crazy that we had 2 out of the 3 the same.
What'd you say?
So it must be true.
Confirmation. What'd you say?
I wrote down kind, passionate, and outgoing.
Okay.
But you said caring and kind, which is the same.
Yeah.
So like, you really need one more.
Okay.
Passionate.
I don't know. Fun. I hope I'm fun. I think I'm so fun. So, I just hit my mic.
All right, cool. And then the last exposure. What is your current Starbucks order, and how many times, truthfully, do you go through that drive-thru every week?
Okay, Dad, just turn off the podcast. Just get off. So my current order right now, I love cold brew anything. So anything cold brew. But recently, I've just been going with the generic cold brew with cinnamon dolce. But they're on a shortage of cinnamon dolce. So
ridiculous.
I don't know what the heck is up with that Starbucks. But today I got cold brew with sweet cream cold foam and white mocha. That's amazing. And truthfully, I do go 7 times a week.
Ooh, do you hear that, Starbucks? I think that screams partnership, if anything.
Yes. We'll do what's it called?
Sponsor?
Yes, sponsorship. Yeah, sponsor me, please.
Starbucks. 9 times a week. Okay, and I think it would be really, really fun to just end this first podcast, getting to know you a little bit. We've laughed. We've kind of got a little deeper. Kind of exposed you a little bit. Let's just end on some best friend trivia.
Perfect.
Do you know me?
I hope so.
A little 20 questions, but not 20 questions. Okay, so first question, which we're both going to answer these. So, like, I wrote down my answers, but
just
we'll see if they're correct. You know,
perfect.
I might not know you at all.
All right, that's fine. It'll be fun.
Do you remember when we became friends? Like, what year, what grade in school would you say?
6th grade. On outside when you came up to me.
Hey, I made the first move, guys.
She did. She walked up to me and
I had a crush on Bailey.
Yeah, the bleachers outside. Why were we at bleachers outside?
Did I ask you if you wanted my Cheez-Its or something?
You offered some type of food to me, and
I knew her love language too.
Yes, period. No, she came up to me and was like, "Do you want to share some whatever?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course." So we were instant. I always joke and say we had an instant connection, but no joke. I literally knew that you were going to be my best friend forever.
It's literally a match made in heaven.
I'm not kidding. I haven't felt that with a guy, but I felt that.
Shut your mouth.
But not in a romantic way, just in this girl is going to be awesome and she's going to be in my life. And so I was super excited. Solstice.
So I wrote down 6th grade as well. So
ding.
Winner.
We need the sound effect. We're not that fancy.
Yeah. What used to be my favorite accessory?
Belts.
Which I feel like I started the trend because
I don't know.
Belts are in now.
Halie wore skinny jeans and a big belt. It tucked her Hollister shirt in. And she said, "This is fashion. Look it up. If you don't like it, I hate you."
Yeah,
so that's
fine.
it. Mic drop.
But you understand I answered these questions as well.
Okay,
so.
what was that?
Bailey's was very simple and cheap, and she had access to a lot of them. Hers was just a bobby pin.
Oh, yeah.
But
for the video, this is me.
Hers was just a bobby pin
with a twist.
With a twist in her hair, just clipped right next to her eyebrow.
Right in the front. I wanted everybody to know that I took 2 seconds to twist my hair.
Yeah.
Bobby pin in,
it was so funny.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. She grew up.
She did.
I forgot to write this one down. When was the other person's first kiss? Not who, okay. But what year or what grade in school do you think? Which I don't really.
Oh, I know both of ours off the bat. Mine was 7th grade. It was a train wreck.
If you're out there.
Crazy time. I don't know. That's a really young to kiss, by the way. Young viewers, I do not advise that. Yours was going into freshman year in the summer.
I was a slow learner.
And I forced that upon it.
Yes, you did.
That's funny.
I was tricked.
Good times. Jesus,
okay.
7th grade.
This one's easy. I don't know, this one's kind of stupid, but what is the other person's favorite fruit? I would say yours is pineapple.
Mine is pineapple. You love fruit. So your favorite?
You might not know this.
I just know you love fruit in general, but what do I see you eat a lot of? You used to hate bananas, but now you like bananas. I feel like you eat bananas a lot. You like pineapple. I don't know. You eat fruit. You're healthy.
Taking a turn.
What? I don't know. I would say your most favorite fruit might be berries.
Oh my God, you got it right.
Really?
Yeah.
I know you
What the
love
heck?
berries.
What the heck?
Because I love raspberries too. Raspberry anything is so good.
Oh God, that's funny. I'm glad you took a second to think and got it right. I honestly didn't think you were going to get that one right.
You're like, this is awkward.
Yeah.
She doesn't know me.
I'm staring at her in the eyes. I'm like, what is it? Okay, and then last one to end on. What does the other person spend the most money on, do you think? You answer and then I'll answer.
Me or you?
You answer what you think I spend the most money on.
You spend the most money on gym clothes. That wasn't a shade thing either. That's just what
Called
I feel.
out. Hopefully Kyle's not listening.
All your gym stuff is so cute, but I know it's gotta be up there.
Yeah.
Pretty expensive.
Yeah, for sure. That was mine. That's what I wrote down for my answer. I wrote down as yours, either Starbucks or food.
Yeah, I don't really buy myself stuff.
Like I said,
I have nothing to show for it except for
love language
coffee
is food.
addiction. Yes.
Coffee and food.
Yes, certainly. Do you have any more questions, or is that your...
If you want to end on, if you could go back and tell your 16-year-old self one thing, what would you tell her? What would you tell 16-year-old Bailey?
16-year-old Bailey. She's a hot mess. No, I don't know. That's kind of hard. I would tell her a couple of things. I would tell her that her confidence is not dependent upon anyone else's opinion of her, to be secure in who you are and the person you want to be, and that failure is okay, because I'm still learning that. And when you fail in something, just get back up, get back at it again, and to just make the most of every day. And no matter what you do, whether that's just being friendly to an employee somewhere or telling someone you love them, just make the most of your days. Be confident in who you are. Don't be unwavering in who you are, and let someone else's opinion mess you up. And when you fail, it's okay. There's room for growth, and you're growing. So
Yeah.
that's what I would tell that hot mess of a girl. But that is it, I believe, for our questions. So this was just a fun, it had deeper moments, but this was just to get you guys to know me. And I know that I like to listen to people when I know their heart behind something, and I know kind of the person that they are and what their goal is, so I can get behind them and support them. So that's what this was, just to get to know me. But a little bit of more informational stuff. This podcast is going to come out every other week on Mondays, because I want people to have it at the beginning of the week as a resource. And I don't have a specific route I'm going with it on topics. It's kind of just anything about bettering yourself, or I might have someone come in who's successful in something and just ask them about it. Just real conversations, real people, all learning from each other and our experiences. That's what this podcast is. And some will be solo, some will be partner, etc. And it's going to be awesome. WhatsBaySay, let your friends know. It's going to be great. But just thank you so much to Halie for being here. I love you. And thank you so much to anyone who watches this. And besides that, just be ready and be expected. And if you have a dream, go for it. And I'm going to end these podcasts in all the same ways of letting everyone know that you can do great things. No one can stop you, and to find the good in things. And if there's no good, then that's your chance to become the good. So find the good or become the good. Peace out. Have a great rest of your day. You're loved. Adios.
Bye.